internet Rise of Kingdoms community, welcome to the finals. That is right. Today we are honored to be casting the Anubis, Realm of Anubis finals between FN and 411K. These guys went through hell and back to get here. The folks of FN had to knock out one of their own alliances to get in here. 411K had to go through NBA 1 to get here, among a lot of other big alliances in the realm of Anubis. Now, quite frankly, it is our biggest regret this season not to have been able to cover this realm more often on this channel for the community, but at least the finals are in a great time for us to come in here and showcase the two top alliances of this realm making it to the finals. On today's cast, you're not only going to have myself and one more caster, but all three casters. That is right. We are talking myself, Dragothian, and Chiskel Gaming. All three of us will be casting this match. And trust me when I tell you, it's going to be a crazy one. We're a few moments away from it starting, about 4 minutes to go. Let's look very briefly at these two alliances, see what we're looking at and how they fared through their Osiris League time. Starting off with FN, about 3 billion power alliance. They went through a lot. These guys were very solid. I believe they haven't dropped a single match throughout the whole tournament to make it out here. Of course, in the playoffs, you cannot allow yourself that. But even in the group stages, they were very dominant. With one match against 1v that was a little bit different for them. I should probably move it this way a little bit so I don't block. Oh, I'm still blocking the information. Time out. You go that way now. Will it work here? I'm still blocking it. I'm just gonna move. All right. So, yeah, look at this. FN going through M8R quite comfortably. M8R had not shown up to this match. 1-3-4-1 Death Squad's team had a very close matchup against them, and FN squeezed by a victory. Then they went through NCB, their own brethren of the kingdom, to get to the finals. 3-3-1 on the board. Two teams making it to the semifinals. Very, very cool stuff. While 411K, a monster kingdom, that alliance in a kingdom that is packed with players, had a very comfortable time through the qualifiers. They went on to the knockout stages and they knocked people out. Going further into the group stages in the playoffs against TDM, OLYM, and AUBU, they just kept knocking teeth out, and it kept getting worse and worse. Towards the very end, LIIG gave them a huge challenge, and they squeezed by it, and so did NBA 1 to finally make it to the finals. 411K rocking 3.27 billion power in their favor. Now, unfortunately, as this is not an account that sits in the realm of Anubis, I cannot see the bets on their side, but I can tell you this is not going to be a one-sided match at all. These two teams are coming in to win it, and they're going to bring everything they have. We will be seeing these two teams in the Osiris Invitational coming up after this tournament is over. The four teams from the realm of Anubis that are going to make it to the Osiris Invitational are on your screen right now. That is NCB, FN, NBA 1, and 411K. Those are the participants of the Osiris Invitational for the realm of Anubis. But now we need to crown the champion. We need to put someone's name on the building in the realm of Anubis, and it is just about time. We're a few moments away from the match starting, 49 seconds remaining. It is time to ask you guys in the chat right now, who do you guys think will win? Will it be hashtag FN or hashtag 411K? Let us know in the comments right now. We'll see what the community thinks. Thank you all for joining us today. I hope you guys will enjoy the cast. It's going to be a great match, and I'm super stoked to be casting this one with both Chiskel and Dragothian. And of course, down below in the description, you'll find the links to all of our channels. If you want to come say hi after the match, check out our content, daily Rise of Kingdoms content, as we are the sponsored content creators by Rise of Kingdoms. I see a lot of 411Ks, like some FNs flowing in the chat as well. Look at that. This is going to be an unbelievably fun match to watch. Let's go into the realm of Anubis and prepare ourselves to get into the match. And what else can be said? All that's left to do is hope and pray we can get in, because that's a thing. And from there, hand it over to our casters. But for now, timer is just about ready to go. Realm of Anubis opening up any moment now. Any moment the match should open up, and we should be able to get in. Let's go into the match.
Welcome everyone to the Realm of Anubis finals. This is the Realm finals for all the kingdoms that are roughly 330 and later. This is going to be an epic matchup. I had a chance to cast 4K versus NBA 1 last week. It was an amazing battle, worthy of a finals matchup. And these two alliances, FN and 411K, are matched up brilliantly. This cannot get any more exciting. I cannot wait to see the strategies unveiled today in the last match for this realm. This is going to be a very interesting play. I'm looking to see, both Chisco and Gecko, I'm really looking to see what we're trying to do here. Are they going to be going for the sides? Are they going to be going for the structures? Or are they going to be going for the Ark of Osiris? What's going to be their winning play? Both sides are going to have to make that decision and commit. I'm interested to see how it plays out. Chisco, what do you think?
I am inclined to believe that the battle for the Ark of Osiris is going to be the difference maker between who wins and who loses. The point differential when you get that thing is huge. Not only are you scoring big points for your team, you're denying it of the opposing team. The thing I'm eager to be kind of looking at and watching is, for the folks who've been following along with the channel for the whole season, what's different in this league compared to what we've been watching in the other league? Are the commanders going to be different? What should we expect and what should we be looking for?
So for me, I think that the differential between these two teams is going to be my favorite point-making part in this game. You know it fairly well. You know what I'm talking about. I feel like Provisions are going to score this game. Honestly, by looking at these two teams, there are a few folks here that I know are, I believe most of these guys have migrated into these kingdoms. So commanders-wise and veterancy and experience is something that exists on both sides fairly well. I can tell you, for example, that in 411K, we have a bunch of folks from the old OV lineup. That's right, Aki, an old R4 from OV, migrated over here with a bunch of players. And the winning team from last season has some people fielded on the 411K side. Will there be anything different between the two realms? I highly doubt it in the terms of commanders, as honestly, I'm fairly confident that most of these alliances are migrated in alliances rather than ones that have been built through time in these younger kingdoms.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's a good backstory to what we're about to witness here. FN pouring out of their side of the base here on the top left side. Bottom right side, red team being 411K. And these guys are pouring out as well. I love the very beginning because I love to see who is going to be sending their T1 cavalry marches the quickest to capture their obelisk and start the countdown so we can get some cities to start teleporting in and start the rallies. The rallies are going to be critical in this matchup, Gecko and Chisco. This is going to be something where if they don't support rallies in the open field, they're going to be wasting their time, wasting their troops. I'm interested to see when we get to the end of this matchup, obviously who's going to win, but just as importantly, who wanted it more, right? Who's going to have to spend those precious healing speed ups? And I know a lot of these kingdoms and these alliances are in Lost Kingdom right now, and KVK too. FN being one of them for sure, because I'm up against them in Lost Kingdom. Number one, they are a huge kingdom. They're part of a massive kingdom. So they're definitely going to be looking to put their all into this, but I'm interested to see what's going to be happening coming up with these obelisks first.
Yes, well, the race is on, and folks nearly at those obelisks. This territory is going to start flipping really soon. After you tag a structure with your own troops, there's 3 minutes until that's going to convert over, and it does look like folks are now jumping into those structures. They're starting to flip, red being the first to get into an obelisk, and then blue following shortly thereafter. So it's about even in this race to structures and this land grab, which is incredibly important for starting you off, getting points, but then also getting your first teleports. You get 5 for each obelisk initially, and that is going to be hugely important for getting your troops into the right position onto the battlefield, which, man, does that make a difference in Ark of Osiris, being in the right places at the right times and being closer to the action.
So Chiskel, one of the points that you brought in very early on is kind of fulfilling itself right now. The difference between the other realm and this realm when it comes to the very early game. So there are 2 points to point out here. First and foremost, in the other realm, we've seen more folks sending their cavalry march, their fast cavalry march out there into caravans first, and then tagging the outposts and then flying out towards the obelisks. While here we saw one caravan being tagged and then straight to the obelisks, which was an interesting difference. It's why the obelisks were captured much earlier than any of the outposts were. And one more thing for the community to know about is that there is a difference between the two obelisks. And if you look at how the obelisks were taken, the top one for red and the bottom one for blue were taken first. The reason for that is those you can straight shoot to, while the other side have this big mountain you gotta go around, and that's a real time killer, and it's also a place where if you tag the outpost first, you might get punished. So there are some interesting changes that it seems like these folks have made to how these buildings are taken, for better or worse, but these are points that are worth pointing out when you try to build your own strategy. You should know about these little micro optimizations, as you like to call it, Chiskel, to perform to the best of your ability.
That's the word. That's the word, the micro optimizations. And at this level of play, you've got to be making every optimization possible as folks from blue, FN, are postured downfield on the red side of the battlefield and vice versa. We're going to see some aggressive play by both sides to try to take these altars, which are high point buildings. Initial capture of an altar is 750 points. This is going to get bloody.
Yeah, I agree. This top lane here, FN is really trying to position themselves appropriately around their desert altar, and 411K is really just kind of camping out, waiting for the structure to open in 50 seconds. 50 seconds is a long time in Ark of Osiris and Osiris League. I mean, that's going to be very difficult to maintain presence for almost a full minute while you have tons of armies from FN coming and surrounding you, looking to try and capture that altar. Of course, capturing is only the first part, right? Then you've got the occupation. The first occupation is critical for all of these buildings, but just specifically, the altars are critical. You get so many points for first occupation on those structures, 750 points one time for that first occupation. 411K looks like they've got their stuff locked up tight on the bottom lane, on the bottom side. There's only one army on each building with 3 seconds left. It looks like the FN March is going to try and capture it at least for a second, and they do not on the bottom lane, but do on the top. Let's see if they can hold it. I'm not sure if they're going to have enough people there to do it.
Listen, this strategy is something we've seen in the past. Unfortunately, on my own flesh, this was HKL's play last time they took out JWM2 with myself on the field. What they did was just this. They put an Attila Takeda in the building, brought a bunch of reinforcements, and as of right now, I still don't see at that top Desert Altar reinforcements coming in, and just as I said, more marches come in. Unfortunately, they're making the mistake of only refilling once the building is red, which means they're not using each other as buffers. They're just each and every one of them going in one at a time and then taking this swarm by themselves. That's a little bit of a misplay, which HKL didn't do. By that, 411K will lose this Desert Altar. FN, they lost a minute, but trust me, from experience, losing that first occupation on an altar early on is such a critical situation that not every team can come back out of it.
Yes, indeed. Divide End being cast to give folks more teleports to get closer to the action. We've got an even split of territory now across the battlefield, each side owning the structures closer to their starting point. So it's an even split down the middle with 5 minutes and 50 seconds until the arc spawns. Pretty soon we should see rallies launching and honestly, folks starting to move toward the middle, toward the Ark of Osiris. As I peek in that direction now, nobody's there yet. So everybody's fighting off on the sides, which makes a ton of sense. Divine Aid now being cast for 11K as well. So they're going to get their teleports up onto the battlefield. This is looking spicy. So far, I don't see these rallies. Let's see if we can track where they're headed.
Yeah, I see 4 on each side. One's marching right, 2 are marching right now from 411K to those targets. 5 rallies coming out, 6 rallies coming out from from FN, including a city rally, it looks like, or a counter rally. We'll see which one that is. When you see a target on the rally meter there on the bottom right where it's got a player portrait, it's likely either a counter rally on a rally that's coming their way, or it could be an actual rally on a city. I don't see any blue lines going to cities just yet. We're not at that stage of the game, so it's definitely a counter rally for sure. There's rallies all over the place. This is the first punch in the mouth from both teams. We're going to see who can support their rallies in the field, clear the open field, kill the reinforcements coming in to support the structure they're rallying. That, to me, is the biggest indicator of who's going to be able to dictate the pace of this match and ultimately start to look into the middle where the Ark of Osiris spawns, see if they can do that as well. If they can do both, they have a very high chance of winning.
Yeah, one of the rallies that we just saw hit on the screen, you were talking about throwing punches, might have been a little bit of a sucker punch. They sent a Edward of Woodstock with half cavalry and half archers. The only 4 people in that march, it was swarmed pretty hastily, and now there's a rally going the other way from 411K toward the Shrine of War. Now, this is a tactic we saw in the other league as well, which is making a push for the Shrine of War, then spinning around the corner to go on the enemy's side of the battlefield into the Temple of Osiris area. We may be about to see that happen, and this Shrine of War got an Alexander the Great primary defending it. It could be in trouble.
Yes, sir. I was just pointing that out with a camera for us to take a peek because buildings are blinking everywhere. But while the desert altar at the bottom was getting hit, a ton of marches didn't even care and started moving forward. We're looking at middle team starting to do what middle team does. At around the 3-minute mark, that's when you want to start getting a little bit closer. You still have plenty of time to make it in. All is good, but you want to position yourself in a strategically sound place. Moving towards the Shrine of War and taking it out before going to the middle. Middle team still has a good 20 seconds to be able to swarm here comfortably before they start rotating in. They started sending some folks in. If this Shrine of War falls for FN, it's massive trouble because the Shrine of War gives not only 5% attack, but also 5% defense, which is everything you need in the middle to win that middle fight. If FN lose the Shrine of War right now, 411K have 10% of both stats available. However, it looks like the defense was just good enough to, as I mentioned, that 2-minute and 30-second mark arrived and the swarm had to bail out. The building is still being contested by a rally and a few swarmers, but it's going to be much harder for that building to go down now as the swarm heads towards the center. The Ark is about to pop.
Yeah, and F and Fate Nation, they came a little earlier than 411K did to the middle, and I gotta tell you, being in that situation myself, being on the little bit late end, it's a little bit of a gut-sinking feeling whenever you see a bunch of marches in the middle. However, luckily for 411K, they did position themselves well to go ahead and start moving into the middle from their side of the map, and again, they've got people coming in from behind, sandwiching FN in the middle. This could not be going better from a middle team perspective for 11K. They've got position troops everywhere. They've got people up by the current Season 1 winners OV shrine there to their honor, their good name from winning Season 1. And 411K and FN are going to start really pushing at each other. The alliance skills are going to start firing off very quickly. FN together, so all those alliance skills are going to start hitting all of those marches and benefiting them. Everybody's got their Shrines of War right now, at least. And again, some harassment looking at the back where the outposts are at. Looks like 411K sending a march back there, going ahead and trying to get a little ahead of the game and capture one of those outposts. So they have to make a decision to go to a structure or another outpost or even take it back towards their obelisk.
Did you notice Nat's play? Nat did a fantastic move. He had a Belisarius march that just kept going down. he needs that march to get about half health so he can get that extra march speed. And he managed to split FN. FN fell for the bait and went after him. He's like, cheers, I just needed that. And it split those numbers that you mentioned from that center. A few of them came to the side. And that gave the opening for red team to start hitting the bottom players. By the time the guys who went after Nat figured that one out, they came back. It was not the worst positioning possible. But that little bait was fantastic. I love it.
Man, the Ark about to spawn in less than 15 seconds here. Someone's going to get the grab. I don't know who it's going to be. It's looking about even, perhaps, in the middle. More folks coming in to support. And like I said at the start, I feel like Ark is the defining factor for the battle. Here it is, spawned in. Let's see who gets the grab and if they've got some alliance skills saved up to make a clean getaway with this thing.
Yeah, looking at the points, it's about a 600-point, 500-point match in favor of 411K. But look at all the buildings that are blinking. Just until a second ago, they were all red that were blinking, meaning FN was continuing to add on the pressure. I don't know if they were all supported from an open field standpoint, but look at the middle. There's not nearly as many troops in the middle as you would normally see. 411K had it there for a second, trying to pull it back to their side. But of course, you can select the Ark carrier now by clicking the icon on the top left. That will give you the name of the person as well as jump to that person, and then you can target that army with all of your troops instead of having to sift through that big mass of armies in the middle. 411K doing a great job trying to keep it on their side of the map, but again, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be able to capture it, because not only is there a long way to go before this Ark can make it to a structure, but just as you're seeing right now, too, there's a lot of blue outposts on the 411K side of the map now. That's places that FN could potentially take that Ark and capture it on 411K's side. This is what gets so exciting. I love these different types of plays. Jessica, what do you think is going to be coming in here when it comes to rallies coming out? I mean, there's no buildings switching just yet as far as main buildings, but I still see some buildings blinking.
Yeah, oh my gosh, this Ark and where they're going to capture it. Blue's got it moving slowly back toward their side of the battlefield. Now it drops again. I just wonder what building they're going to choose to capture the Ark at. Because you're right that the folks in blue have started to take some of the outposts on the opposing side of the battlefield. Bringing this Ark to an outpost is a really dangerous choice. Looking around the map, I do see stuff is getting rallied. I don't know if any of it is going to flip hands, though. I think most of these look like they're going to hold successfully. So that means if you try to take it back to your own outpost, the enemy could knock you out as the carrier and then take the building themselves and cap it there if you're not careful. Red does have the Ark. They're moving it down toward their side of the battlefield, but that's where Blue's got their outpost locked up. I don't know where they're going to take this thing.
Yes, sir. And there are a couple of metrics here that are worth pointing out, which is, first of all, the points per minute game is completely even. And now, as I just start saying that, the blue team picks up 30 points worth of a lead. It's the first time they take a lead. All of this time, the red team had a slight lead. It was always 560, 530, except for red side. Now blue with a slight lead, which will help them close that about 800-point gap between these two teams. Here's the problem. The red team still has 3 teleports available. Blue team just picked up 2 and instantly used one of them. Since Divine Aid was casted, there have been 4 teleports available for the red team, the folks in 411K, that have not been used yet. That means that there are 3 players out there that should have, in theory, been at the obelisks by now that have much, much longer marches home. And these small mistakes, per se, of not having your troops home quick enough to be able to port in time and all that stuff really adds up, especially when we're talking about 3 teleports. That's 15 marches that march much, much longer from home to the field and back home.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And, that's an alliance skill that could have been used in the middle. Maybe that's a march speed bonus that could have been given, or, something somewhere that could have been affecting the battle from a points perspective. And, still sitting at three teleports right now, those are going to start to kind of weigh themselves against the match as it goes on. But 411K, despite that, is really starting to dominate the middle here. I see a lot of blue starting to get into the red and yellow on their marches, and more 411K popping in to the fight with fresh marches. So that's when it starts to really be dictated whenever you're on one side of the Ark or the other. The benefit starts to go to the team that has the closer cities with the closer marches. And then again, Chisco, like you said, I think the better way to do this would be maybe to take it to an altar. It's well defended. There's nothing around it. It's very difficult to take. Whereas you've got these outposts, and during this whole center fight, they've swapped hands twice.
Yup. Yeah, the challenge with the outpost is it's got a capacity of 500,000 troops. People are using 50% march expansion, so each march is 310,000. You can't even put 2 full marches into the darn structure, let alone the Ark carrier and somebody else to protect it. I mean, I feel like a structure that's got a higher capacity is a lot safer to try to bring this thing to, but I will say what we've seen play out in the center of the battlefield is a pretty resounding victory for 411K at the Temple of Osiris, and they've got a pretty clean walk now to that outpost. So I suppose I don't mind that being the building that they take it to, given that they've really got an almost entirely clear field, and anybody trying to make their way in is just going to get swarmed down. So I see now the camera switching it up to look at the buildings, which I think makes sense because we're now back to the structure game for probably another 10 minutes or so before we'll see another arc in the center. And maybe it's premature for me to act like this thing is, sort of home free, but I think they've got this one in the bag.
If not home free, it's definitely going to get delayed. If not home free, then it could get delayed for sure. There is 12 minutes to still bring this arc back until it pops back into the middle. This can give the folks in 411K the opportunity to chill with it for another 10 minutes if they desire so. They're doing massive work in the sky altar of FN. FN has presence here. There's a lot of red marches in here. This might be the first main building to switch hands, with the exception of that first minute of the occupation. Granted, 38.5 minutes remaining. The points per minute game is even. The folks in red have about a 1,500 point lead, 9,900 against the 8,400 of FN. Plenty of time still remaining, but also plenty of teleports remaining for both teams.
Yeah, I wonder if they will stall the arc. If I'm sitting in the red camp, I would be capping it right away because they had such a resounding victory in the center. I would just try to do that again as soon as possible.
Yeah, I agree. Looks like they did just cap it, and I think they may have been like kind of talking to themselves in the heat of the moment, in the heat of the battles. Hey, should we keep this? Hey, should we capture it? I think they decided the right decision there. Capture that Ark of Osiris. Get back to the sides. You've got structures on the top lane on 411K's side getting absolutely swarmed down. The Shrine of War on the top lane here on 411K side, it looks like it may actually go down depending on if they can get these reinforcements in time. I think they will. So that should hold, hopefully, if they do their reinforcements correctly. And then on the Sky Altar on the top lane, too, unsupported, really, for the most part, Attila Takeda rally against this, looks like Richard Constantine garrison defense. It's going to hold strong because, like you said, Gecko, earlier in the match, the more troops you've got against a lower troop rally, the more damage it's going to do, the more survivable it's going to be. I see rallies going ahead and breaking and getting smashed on the top side, too. Looks like we did have that Sky Altar switch hands on the left side bottom lane, too. And let's see if they have 411K can hold this or if they're going to lose it right back to FN.
Yes, sir. The Shrine of War, though, is a big problem because that building is about to go down and potentially tons of red marches here, but the building is going down. Is it going to actually flip? There it is. That's the one march. Okay. That right there would have can still pretty much contradict a little bit of what you said, Chiskel, because having a successful first fight in the Ark doesn't necessarily mean your next one will be just as good. I think that there is place for holding an Ark, maybe not the first one, but definitely the second one if you manage to take it back. Without the Shrine of War, if FN managed to take this building and hold onto it even for a little bit, that could delay all of the strategy of the middle as they need to retake this for the middle, and that can be the opening FN is looking for. But for now, the only opening found was by 411K in that Sky Altar at the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, the Ark is going to spawn into the middle in 6 minutes and 15 seconds. And the thing that I find myself struggling with, to your point earlier about the teleports, is that they still have a bunch of those available. And I see so many marches in 411K that are at half strength or less that haven't had a chance from going to that first middle fight to actually go home and refresh. So if all these folks haven't teleported forward yet, are they going to have enough time to refresh their marches and get back to the center and do the dance at the structures? I don't know as we see the folks in FN taking back their Sky Altar on their side of the map. And again, we have an even split of territory.
Yeah, look at these Shrines of War, right? So 411K just defended their Shrine of War. 411K also used the Teardown Alliance skill on the opponent FN's Shrine of War. That's what those cross swords are. They are swarming and rallying this structure. They are likely going to take this. There's just not enough FN around here. They've been swapping armies brilliantly, has FN, but there it goes. Shrine of War down. It took extra damage from all that swarm and rally. They've got plenty of armies right before the Ark of Osiris comes into play. That was a brilliant move. And FN, when you look in the middle, right, there's a lot of people in the middle, all named Ninja Shay, enough. They all are coming into the middle here. That's really odd that they're all named Ninja Shay. But yeah, so they're all in the middle. But look, there's 5 minutes left until this arc spawns. Those armies could have helped defend that structure. Now, 411K has a good hold on the Shrine of War on the FN side. They've got a good garrison sitting there. FN's trying to swarm this thing down and taking heavy damage while trying to do it. 411K, if they could fill some folks in that rally there inside of that structure, they're going to be in very good shape to hold that at least for a little bit, but it looks like they're kind of giving up on it, honestly. I'm not sure what the play was there, just to take it for a second. But FN's got a very strong posture in the middle at the Temple of Osiris. I'm not sure if this was a little too early or not. What do y'all think?
I'm a little confused. Normally, the sort of play that I feel like is evolved is the textbook play is to take the Shrine of War, swing around the back. But we see is that 411K took the Shrine of War, and then all these marches are retreating back to their own side of the battlefield. So they neither stayed to keep the thing safe, nor went around the back to hit the Temple of Osiris area. I'm not sure what is evolving or what the strategy is with that.
So it's kind of crazy. One of the things that I pointed out on the screen for you guys watching was that there was a counter rally on the initial rally taking this Shrine of War back. That counter rally had 2 marches in it, which I don't know how effective that is, that could have very easily been inside the building to secure the building. This is one of the reasons counter rallying in Ark of Osiris is really problematic. When you counter rally, you're essentially committing marches to hit the rally that's hitting the building, and those marches are too committed to that. They cannot defend the building unless, of course, you cancel that counter rally. But there is no added value in counter rallies when the building goes down. At the end of the day, those 2 marches march their way home, and to make matters worse, it was an infantry and a cavalry march. So I don't know what they were doing there. A little bit of a misplay as far as I'm concerned, but the Ninja Shays are in the middle right now. 2 minutes remaining, and they're not about to give up this middle easy.
And guys, there's more. There's more Ninja Shays coming into the middle. I don't know if it's a visual bug or if there literally is 5 different people named Ninja Shay, but they're coming, and they're coming hard. They're coming in hot. So again, I think I agree with you with that Shrine of War play. 411 missed a little bit of an opportunity there. They should have done one of 2 things. Either they should have put those marches that they had around that structure and in that rally, in that Shrine of War, and held it for as long as they could. That would have delayed FN from having the buffs that they now have to go to the middle and have an even stats differential. Or the other thing that they should have done is if they disconnected and went ahead and gave up on that shrine, which again I don't think was the play, but if they did, they should have at least come in from behind and started tagging some of these marches coming in from the FN side, because right now they're just starting to stack up. FN is starting to really stack up on their side, and more reinforcements are coming through. I'm very curious to see who can win this next arc, because this is going to be critical for FN. If they want to stay inside of this match, they cannot allow 411K to dominate the Ark of Osiris territory like they did last time.
That Ark of Osiris.
6 Ninja
Yeah, that
Shays.
Ark of Osiris in huge contention. And, well, you know, the secret behind 6 Ninja Shays is that a true ninja never reveals their identity, right? So which one is the Ark carrier? Which one has the special marches set up to take the Ark? You'll never know, and we'll only find out after they grab the darn thing. That battle's starting to unfold in the middle. The rules of being a ninja. Oh, boy.
I think that they all have the marches ready to go. If you ask me, all these guys have the same exact marches, the same exact stuff. They are all in here trying to do the good old OV play, the John Wick play, when there were tons of them on the map and everybody was like, what the heck is going on? You really don't know if it's actually the John Wick picking up the arc or not, because there are so many of them. It's like, some John Wick did. Okay, we don't know which one. We accredit the one guy, but you never know if that's actually what happened or not. But going back into the match, 480 points per minute to the 620 of Red Team. Red Team in the lead by over 5,700 points. 5,600 points, we'll give them that. And their lead is growing. Their lead is going to continually grow. FN don't only need this arc badly, which is, by the way, worth 3,500 points. They need to start taking buildings. They need to start going back to winning the points per minute game. And they need to wake up a little bit. It seems like they started super strong, but as time is going by, 30 minutes remaining in the match, they are starting to slip a little bit.
Yeah, keying back into that fight in the center, the reason they have named themselves all Ninja Shay is that there was once a time where part of the strategy was to take out the carriers who had more mobile marches but less tanky marches. And I think that strategy, the counter, is just rename everybody something very similar. Ooh, but this is cool. We've got an arc grab and we've got running charge. Now, this is the move that I've been waiting to see. Running charge gives you a huge amount of march speed. There's Bogged Down trying to slow down that arc, and the arc carrier lost control. We saw some crazy breakout arc grabs using those combinations, either Bogged Down or running charge. That was pretty exciting, although good grab putting it back down.
Yeah, I agree. I wonder if maybe that bog down was used a little too quickly. Now they don't have that bog down for the next pickup, which right now is in 411K's hands. It's stationary right now, but it is now moving very, very slowly. It's likely an infantry march of some kind. Let me click it. And with so many portraits, it's very difficult to pick out which one it is. It looks like it's a Guan march, I think. And again, that being infantry, it's going to be a little slower than normal, although Guan does have a little bit of mobility to him, especially if he's got a Alexander a second. But FN is really starting to pour in the troops here. 411K is trying to do the same, but it looks like a lot more 411K marches are starting to get sent back home smashed versus FN. FN looks like they may be taking the field presence battle, and that's always a good thing when you're looking at trying to take this Ark of Osiris. Like you guys said, they're behind by quite a bit. They need not only to grab this Ark, but they also need to start taking some of these structures. And having lost a couple of their outposts, that point differential is sitting at 30 right now. But once these buildings start capturing in the outposts, 411K is going to have about a 60-point benefit or a bonus to what FN has because of the outposts. Outposts are critical from a points per minute perspective. I think they're completely underrated. A lot of people kind of forget about those outposts, thinking they're just kind of small potatoes. But when you've got 3 of those, that's 90 points per minute, guys. That's a lot of points per minute to be stacking up. 411K getting all of theirs back. So it looks like maybe it's going to start evening up here shortly. But there's blinking buildings. Almost all of them are blue. But blue is, I think, really dominating the middle right now for this battle. Let's see who ends up coming away as they pick the Ark up again, does FN.
Big mistake.
Yes.
Big mistake by FN. They dropped the Ark on the red side. Did you notice that? They picked up the Ark first, which was fantastic, except that on the wrong side. You know how much time it takes to walk around the Temple of Osiris? 31 seconds. It'll take you 31 seconds to get to the position where the Ark is supposed to be on the other side of that temple. Of course, you can argue that take a fast cav march and give a little bit of speed up with skills and all that. Okay, sure. Let's give him 15 seconds. That's 15 seconds of time that Red Team gained for free by a very, very small mistake that is making me feel like FN are a little bit nervous. There's something happening in that FN camp that we don't know about it yet that is not letting them be at their full potential, because these are small mistakes that they don't usually make.
We see the Ark dropping yet again. The battle in the middle kind of raging on. And I'm telling you, I feel like this is going to come down to arcs. And if they get an even amount of arcs, then it's, oh man, Gecko, I don't know, dare I say provisioning. But there it is, the Ark on its way out of the middle again. Ninja Shay with a grab. This time, Ninja retreat on his way out of there. Belisarius, less than 50% health, getting the charge talents, 30% more march speed, on top of probably having some of the fastest march speed in the game. But the player Ark from 411k all over that Ark carrier. Is that a coincidence? Is that a name coincidence? Or are they just out to take down carriers? That thing is down. Now, Gecko, to your point, slightly in favor of FN on their side of the battlefield with yet another ninja grab. Another ninja grab, and it's on the move again. Back toward, it looks like they're heading to an outpost. I don't love that direction, but I do love the grabs by these ninja Belisariuses, all looking identical.
Yeah, we've got 411k marches coming in from the backside now too. This is going to be a very difficult capture. It already has been, right? But where do you go? I mean, if you look at the top, you got 411k marches coming from there. If you look towards the outpost, you got a double C march coming in from that direction. I don't see any towards the bottom. I guess that would probably be the play. However, look at the map. Sky Altar on the bottom lane has been taken by 411k. That means there is presence by 411k in FN's lines, and that Shrine of War also has some stuff coming to it from a rally perspective and from a troop perspective. There's nowhere safe for this Ark to be captured by FN. FN has committed quite a few troops to the middle here to capture this Ark as it goes down. 411k is doing just enough to delay this Ark from being captured. The longer it takes FN to capture this Ark of Osiris, the better off for 411k it is, because as you can see on the map, they've got 3 of the altars currently right now, and they are still pressing their advantage. They need to capture their outposts back, but that's a quick slip of the finger here. It looks like 411k is going to be grabbing those outposts back too. If they can delay this Ark of Osiris from getting captured as much as possible, that's going to work to their points per minute advantage. I look to see a little bit of provisioning, which I did see on both sides as you guys were chatting. I went ahead and took a peek. Looks like both sides are doing a little bit of provisioning. I think one side's doing a little more than the other. I'll reveal that a little bit later. If you guys are not peeking at it yourselves, I'm sure you are. But again, let's see if they can hold this altar here on the bottom lane. Is 411k with all these FN marches coming in with a rally to support it. It's likely going to go down, but it may take a lot of troops to do it.
Yeah, I feel like what we're seeing. I feel like what we're seeing unfold is that FN said, okay, we're going to commit heavier to the Ark, and 411k capitalizing on the fact that there are less people defending in favor of getting this Ark captured. And I think they've got the dominant presence. I think over the next 5 minutes, the folks in blue are going to bring that thing back and score it, because I think it's just prohibitively difficult for 411k to stop it, given that there's so many people already here supporting the Ark. But at what cost will they have gotten this Ark? And I think we watched that points per minute game, 410 for blue, 650 for red. The cost is pretty steep.
And to make matters worse, it looks like 411k have cracked the formula when it comes to their defensive aspect of their buildings. Because let me tell you this, while the middle was going on and you guys were focusing a little bit on that, we moved around with a camera to look at the buildings blinking, because there has to be a reaction, right? We always say that essentially you have your team's actions, the other team's action, and you have to react as well as act on your own. The reaction to what happened in the beginning, which was 411k were fairly dominant in the middle, was a bunch of rallies all over their buildings. But we watched an Attila Takeda rally hitting the Shrine of War. I think 15 marches marching right past it, not even caring. And that Attila Takeda march had one debuffer hitting it, and that's it. And that rally was getting chewed. So it looks like 411k are very, very comfortable with their defensive positions. They've cracked the formula on that, which is why, truthfully, have you seen a red building turn blue yet? 22 minutes remaining in the match. Not one of them has turned blue yet. However, the blue team keep losing buildings left and right. And this is a big boy problem, because if you can't take buildings away from the other team, you can't stop them from making points. And that's not going to be very good. I mean, they did take the Shrine of War, though.
Also,
Yeah.
True.
Also not very good is that the Ark fell down right outside this outpost, and now there's enough red marches here that I don't know if they're going to take the outpost and try to score it there themselves. Oh boy. This is I'm stressed just watching this unfold over here. You could see some serious ninja moves at this outpost right now.
Yeah, this is actually, if you're looking at that screen, this is actually anybody's arc now because that arc carrier is low on health and it can go down very quickly. It needs to get to that outpost right now. The outpost is currently blue. How many times have we seen this, guys? How many times have we seen this mess? And this is why we say it's very. Oh, there it goes.
There
There's
it
red
goes.
team's
Oh no.
outpost. Let's see
It
if
could
and the
happen.
arc is down. And the arc is down. Who is after this arc, guys? Oh my goodness, there is enough
Ninja
marches
Shade.
there
Okay.
to hold
Take
it.
the
Okay, so Ninja
outpost.
Shade did grab it. Now they need to take the outpost back. If they take the outpost back, they do not need to wait. Looks like they just did. No, they didn't.
No.
Hold
they
on.
didn't.
Okay, it's
Charles
They
still
don't
red.
have the
Martel.
outpost.
Still red. It needs to go blue. They do not need to wait for down timer for this capture of the arc to happen. So really, it depends on who is close enough to the outpost and has both the outpost and the arc. Is it going to happen? Is it going to? No,
It did.
drops.
It did, and it
drops.
dropped it.
It drops.
They took
It
the
drops.
outpost but
Outpost
dropped the arc.
Outpost is blue now. Outpost is blue. This is anybody's arc at this outpost. This got completely out of hand here. It's why I don't like taking it to the structure. Now, red has the arc. Where are they going to take it? I don't even know. They're going to try to take the building? They lost control. Oh my gosh. This is intense. This is anybody's building, anybody's arc. The thing that we're struggling with here is that, again, the capacity of the building is only 500,000. It's less than 2 full marches in this game mode, which means that you have one person trying to reinforce it, and then the arc carrier's got to try to get in there and have room too. It's very hard to manage that. And if you get out of the building, then the other side takes
Blue
it, and then you run the risk of them capping it.
Yeah, blue has both right now. There's a lot of
Get
infantry
in
marches
there.
coming in from 411K. If they want to capture it, now's the time. They need to capture it right now. I don't know why it's not going in yet. It is right by the building. How is it not inside yet?
I mean, the building
411K
might be
is
full.
going crazy.
The building might be full. There might be too many people in there, and they're trying to coordinate.
And
Like,
it's
who
down
gets
again.
out? Yeah, who gets out, who stays in, so the red team can't just walk in and take it themselves. Oh, this is why the outpost is such a scary building to take this arc to.
Oh my goodness gracious! I can't believe we're actually watching this. I legit cannot pick up my jaw. What is going on right now? Look at the amount of craziness around one small building. We're gonna keep our camera on it, but every other building is blinking. 2 blue buildings, well now 1, and 3 red buildings. Blue team kind of a small fumble here because they need to figure out how to get in the building and how to, fend off the red team. So far, they're doing a decent job at it. It looks like finally the red team is low enough in here that someone can really quickly get out of this building so Ninja Shay can get in. And it just keeps going. I don't understand. But there have been so many options, so many possibilities to cap it, and the arc keeps insisting not going in. It keeps insisting on not going in. Is this FN trying to hold on to the arc? Is this a thing? The arc is moving away from this outpost. Are they actually trying to hold on to the arc? I cannot believe that this is actually the play. He drops it right next to it. However, red presence here has been diminished down to about 5 marches. To get that outpost back is going to take a little bit more than that. We can catch our breaths for a moment because blue team seem to have somehow figured this out.
There you go.
But listen.
There it is.
There it is.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even know what to say at this point. This was just like how much commitment the blue team has in here. Look at all these marches. Red team taking the Shrine of War back in return because why not? There's nobody there to defend it really, and red team is just swarming the life out of it. Sky Altar at the bottom also getting contested. This one will be defended successfully. Blue team trying to take the Sky Altar back, but again, a rally, a Attila Takeda rally, which is a nasty, probably the nastiest rally in the game, is just not able to crack the defense of 411K. They haven't been able to do it yet.
Yeah, this is a close game, people. We have a 1 arc game on our hands with 7 minutes and 30 seconds till the arc spawns in. That's going to give you slightly less than 10 minutes of gameplay to score the arc after it spawns in before the match will be over. Now, the thing that's exciting about that is 10 minutes is more than enough time. But in an intense battle, it will be very, very hard to actually move it far down the battlefield if that's where everybody's focused. So I don't know, like what's the play from here? If you plan on the arc being stalled, I guess you got to make points right now.
At this point, it's either all in or nothing, in my opinion. Because, quite frankly, the differential in points is less than 3,000 points This next arc is 4,000 points total. The red team does have 110 points per minute lead in their favor, which could be problematic. They'll gain another 600 points towards their lead, but that still keeps us below that 4,000 mark. What's going to happen here, in my opinion, is it's just going to be a straight all into the middle. Try to get that arc as quickly as humanly possible, and then you know it's going to decide it. You know it's gonna.
Yeah, because everyone wants to, get the arc really quickly and just get it really back, quick back to their structure. No big deal. We've seen that this match twice now, right? Where people had every intention of going to the middle, grabbing it and running. That never ever happens, especially in the playoffs, right? These two alliances are here for a reason. 411K already posturing around the middle at 6 minutes left. They know what is going to happen. They need to do one of two things. They either need to do what y'all just said and capture it really quickly, which, again, how often does that happen? Secondly, they need to delay because right now they got a points per minute advantage. They've, like you said, Gecko, held their structures pretty much the entire game. I think the only things that they've lost is maybe an outpost or two and maybe a shrine once, if that. So they know they can hold their stuff. And if they continue to hold the points per minute advantage, I've seen them both provisioning will come into play here. And I've seen some numbers that can swing a battle from a provisioning perspective. We're close enough to see that number happen, okay? But if no other alliance captures an Ark of Osiris for the rest of this match, it's going to come down to, can we hold the buildings and how many provisions did we have? And I will say, for the minute or so that I did look around at the provisioning, I did see the red team with a lot more provisioning marches.
Is this a crazy idea? But I feel like if you're ahead by 2,000 points for the folks in red, and you're already up almost 300 points per minute, 290 to be exact, couldn't you mostly abandon your structures and go all in on the middle? Whereas the blue team, they really kind of can't do that in the same way because they need to make sure that they are close enough in score. And the red team, all they have to do is make sure the arc isn't captured or they get it themselves, right? And as long as their provisioning is ahead and their points per minute are far enough ahead now, the point per minute game from structures is nearing a conclusion for its big value, right? There's only 14 minutes left at this point, which means, yeah, okay, like you take a structure, you're not getting that many points anymore. Oh. I wonder if red just goes all in.
I absolutely disagree. If red leaves their buildings, that's going to be how they lose this game. 10 minutes remaining with 1,180 points total on the map. If they lose their two altars, for example, 10 minutes, let's pretend that they leave right as... If they were to leave right now, or let's say at the 2 minute and 50 second mark, that's 11 minutes-ish left on the match. Two altars going down, that means 8 minutes worth of points. 300 points per minute times 8, you have 2,400 points in the bank. And that's your lead out the window, just like that.
Yeah, but they gotta march over there. They still gotta take it. It would take if they abandoned all their structures right now, which they aren't going to, obviously. They couldn't. The folks in blue, it's gonna take them 10 minutes before they can actually capitalize on that and even start scoring points. I don't know. This arc in the middle, this is gonna be where it's at.
Yeah, I agree. And, looking at the points, we're still about a 200-point differential per minute. That's going to stack up. You got, just under 13 minutes. That's the differential right this second. So if this stays the same, you're looking at, roughly 2,200 points that we're going to be getting in favor of 411K, who already has a 2,400, 2,500 point advantage. That means that this arc might not even matter. It depends on the provisions. I think Gecko's right. The provisioning is going to come into play here. I really think that if 411K can just stop this arc from being captured, they've won the game. But that's going to be a tall task. FN is starting to pour into the middle. 411K got in there a little sooner, so they're able to posture forward a little bit. And I don't see a whole lot of blue marches coming in from behind in the 411K side. So they're going to have to buzzsaw through all of 411K just to get to the arc, then capture it, then completely destroy 411K from capturing their Ark of Osiris carrier, and then take it all the way back to a structure. That's a lot of steps for FN to pull this thing out. This is going to be down to the wire, guys. I fully anticipate with 5 minutes remaining or so just go, yeah, that's probably going to happen. Everybody's going to just completely abandon everything with 5 minutes left, and it's going to be 100 marches trying to get that Ark of Osiris in a building of their color.
If anyone's
Yeah,
dropping
FN
buildings right now, it's FN. FN know that they need this Ark. That's their last hope. They are on the back foot. 11 minutes remaining. 210 points per minute. That means a total of still, 2,300 points going in favor of red if this stays like that. So 5,000 points worth of a lead. FN really need this Ark, and 411K have not only been doing tons of work to delay the Ark, but they've also been doing tons of work to delay the points gain of the blue team. They consistently pick up their buildings and bail on them. They leave an Attila Takeda to do enough damage so that it's painful, but they bail on them. And that's 3 minutes at least worth of points that the blue team is not gaining consistently over and over and over. In about a minute, the Ark spawns. It'll be about 9 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. I don't think this Ark is making it anywhere. What do you think, Chisco?
Well, I'll say this. Blue needs to get the Ark, so it's a good thing they brought a bunch of ninjas because they're looking pretty outnumbered here. So someone's going to have to grab this and run and start to bring it back to their side of the battlefield. 46 seconds until this thing spawns in. I think they've got enough marches here and enough staying power that one of the marches is going to try to grab it from either blue or red and get a breakaway. It's going to be hard to do, but that's the way that you can score this thing at this point. That's the path. Somebody's got to have a breakout grab with the Ark, make some amount of progress back toward their own line as all the alliance skills getting used. Not sure why Bog Down is being cast by both sides before the Ark even is spawned in. A little hasty, perhaps?
Yeah, I think that might have been a little early, but I also think that, just look at that mess, right? Like, go try and move around in there, okay? It doesn't matter what your buffs are doing. Very fast, you're going to kind of just sit there and get taken. And, FN, I think, maybe is just trying to get everybody consolidated together. They've got a bunch of AoE commanders in here. I see a bunch of nuking commanders, Guans, Alexes. I see Edwards with YSG behind them. I see Ethelfleds. I see all these AoE commanders. They likely just wanted everybody to clump up and say, here, take all this damage right now so that I can get this Ark right now. And 411K has grabbed it instead. They are already trying to move back. Let's see who has this Ark really quick. This Guan March moving back towards the 411K side, moving fairly quickly, and it's full health. It's going to be having this Ark for at least another 5-6 seconds, and that's going to be 5-6 seconds of marching that FN's going to have to redo on their side of the map, and time is everything for FN right now.
That was a really crucial breakaway grab for 11K. The ninjas are going to have to figure that one out and start to instead bring it back to their own side of the battlefield. This could easily just right here just continue to be a huge battle in the middle, but instead, nice grab for the folks in FN for a heartbeat anyways. All right. But that's what they need to do right now. They got to pick this thing up and start to haul it back to their own side of the battlefield to start to get a position advantage. And I think if you're in blue, you got to send everybody to the middle. And the problem is that you're falling so far behind on points that if you don't take some structures too, you're in trouble.
At this point, the points per minute game is even. 530. Best case scenario for FN right now. About a little bit over 4,000 points for the one team in red right now. But here's the pickle. There are 8.5 minutes remaining, and usually around the 7th minute is when the call out comes out and it's like, hey, get those gatherers back home. So folks in the chat, it's time for you guys to know. At the 7th minute is when the provisioners are going to start coming home. I would urge you to keep your eyes on the points up on the top and let us guide you through what's going on the screen, because within those 7 minutes, everything is going to happen. It's going to be crazy, and this match is going to flip on its head very, very quickly. This Ark is moving towards the red team, and boy, oh boy, if it breaks out clean, it will be GG for FN.
Yeah, you must have taken a picture of my screen because I was looking around at all the different provisioning opportunities that both of these alliances have, and I'm actually not seeing any provisioners out. So I wonder if they're already back. I wonder if there's a little ace in the hole somewhere. I really think that this Ark is going to decide this matchup, with FN now taking a points per minute advantage of 90 points. those outposts likely capturing quickly, and now it goes back down again to 590 to 530. So this is going to be interesting, guys. I think this arc is going to be the main decider, but with it being in 411K's hands and heading 401K's direction, this is going to be really tough for FN to pull off. They're going to have to pull some ninja moves, all those ninja armies coming on their side of the map. 411K is going to need to not only delay this arc from being captured, but just as importantly, make sure their structures on their side are held firmly, because they do not want to repeat the mistake that FN repeated whenever they captured their last arc.
Yeah, this every minute that this goes on is getting less and less likely that FN is going to be able to bring the Ark back to their own side of the battlefield, as the folks in red continuing to march this thing closer and closer to the goal point for them. Oh man, I wonder where they're going to take this thing. If everybody's figured out that outposts are a really dangerous place to go, or if they're going to go somewhere else. Because if I was in red, I would take it to the Shrine of War. Nice building with a huge capacity for troops, a lot harder to swarm down in a hurry, plenty of space to get your own carrier into there. That seems a lot safer than the risky outpost.
There's 90 points in favor of blue team. 5 minutes remaining. That's 450 points that are going to go in their favor, making this match about a 4,000 point match. Still haven't seen the jumper. Oh, and then the number jumped right there. Blue team, 1,000 points came in just like that from provisions. Keep an eye on those numbers, chat, because it is going to go up fast. If I am in 411K right now, that arc is not moving anywhere. Any blue member who dares pick it up gets wrecked. Why? As you can see, they're marching towards the outpost once more. This is just playing with fire. I would not care to get this arc back at this stage, especially in this kind of a match. If you have the provisioners coming in, you don't need these points. If they feel like they need these points, oh boy, this is critical. But I'm not entirely sure they need them. We're about to find out. At this stage, I'd be just taking out every single blue march who dares pick up the arc. Why? Because they're going to take a huge debuff. 50% march speed down and plus 200% damage attack. Damage taken, any blue march picking this up becomes like a little snack. And there is one of them. Let's see how long it'll hold. Yep, I thought so.
What I will say was really slick that I just saw, not sure if it was on the screen for very long, but there was a rally just underneath where all this fighting was, and they canceled it. It was a blue rally, and it deposited a bunch of cavalry right behind the line, which was pretty slick.
And it's now taking the outpost. It's now taking the outpost. There goes the outpost and goes in blue's favor. That was the play right there. And the points per minute. The points per minute are still in favor of blue, and the provisions are coming in harder right now for blue than red. Red might be still holding that card for the very end just to ensure they guarantee their success. But that outpost going down, it's not going to be enough for blue team to get this arc, in my personal opinion. And now it's all about... Can you say it, Chiskel? Can you say it? Come on.
I don't think it's going to be about provisioning, man. I think this match, if they don't get this arc, then I think it's already decided. They've got to score this arc to win.
Yep, I agree. The blue team needs to score this arc. Provisioning has played a big part. It's kept them in the match and gotten them closer to where this arc was going to be kind of an on the edge. Is it going to be enough to... Now we know it's going to be enough because of the provisioning that FN has done so far. It's a 2,500 point game, guys. That means that 1,500 more points have come from provisioning on the FN side than there were 5 minutes ago. So that means FN has to take this arc, and 411K has the arc right now. They've got the outpost. I don't know if there's enough FN marches around this cluster of armies to do what needs to be done with just right at 2.5 minutes left to go in this game. It's going to come down to the wire. There's an outpost right there. There's a Shrine of War right there. 411K can end this all and capture it as quickly as they can, or is FN going to bring everything and have them there quickly enough to capture the building and capture the arc and put the arc in the structure they just captured? That is a tall task, but it's doable. We're going to have to wait and see it with 2 minutes left.
Yeah, this is actually really exciting. With 2 minutes remaining, the thing that they have to do to win the game is to take the outpost and score it at the outpost. So now this outpost, having brought it here, could be the downfall of 411K. Although it's unlikely, that's how you have a chance, and you've got to play for the out that you have. So here we go, the folks in blue starting to swarm down the outpost to shoot the moon here to see if they can pull that off. The red folks doing them a favor,
Yep.
bringing the Ark to the outpost. Oh my gosh,
Mm.
no.
Oy
How can
vey.
this be? How can this
Oh,
be?
they got the memo. They
This
got
is
the
very
memo. They're going
exciting.
away from the outpost now. So they're going far right. They're like, okay, we don't necessarily need to cap it, but we just need to keep it away from where they're about to
There it
take our
is.
outpost. Outpost
Outpost
is
blue,
down.
blue.
Ninjas
Outpost is
all around
blue.
that arc. Let's see if it actually gets captured. There's an Alex in the garrison. No, put a Richard in there or something. A Richard needs to be in there so quickly. The outpost now goes red again. It's now 411Ks, and also 411K has this arc, at least for this second, with 1 minute to go. 411K is pushing it over to the Shrine of War. I think this was the game-winning play right here. The arc carrier looks like it's a Belisarius here looking to go, and it's going to likely go down, but it did what it was supposed to do. It kept it away from the outpost. This is literally the Rise of Kingdoms variation of hot potato. They are just keeping that arc away from FN. And with 30 seconds left, guys, wow. I don't know if there's going to be enough provisions, Gecko, to make this thing last. FN sending another rally of armies in here, using a city to get as many armies as possible over to this cluster. 15 seconds left. I just don't see it happening, guys.
Oh no, provisions are not going to be out there, not in this magnitude at the very end. We're going to see probably this number close down a little bit further. If I were to be a betting man myself, I'd put it below 2,000 points. Maybe not. Maybe it's just what was it? 2,500 points.
just
And
over.
there is the
Yeah,
victory. We have the winners of the realm of Anubis. 411K take the championship and are now the champions of Osiris of season 1 of the Anubis realm. Let's look at the stats.
Yeah, look at the occupation score. Looking at the occupation score again, we asked at the very beginning, right? What's going to win this matchup? What are the strategies going to be by both sides of these, both alliances in this matchup here? And it looks like, again, looking at the occupation score, that's what ended up taking it. We said it throughout the match, right, Gecko? We said 411K is just not losing their structures, and FN did lose a few. The Osiris score, when capturing the Osiris, Ark of Osiris, it's relatively even. First capture went to 411K, second capture went to 3,500 for FN. A little bit of a difference there. Same thing with provisions. It's within 170 points. I mean, what you can't get much closer than that. That means it was the occupation score. That is absolutely nuts. The kills were even too, but look at the units healed, guys.
Yeah, the healing tells a really interesting story because normally you'd think, the overdog is doing, less healing. But in this case, the side that did the most healing was also the winner. So I don't know if there's a difference in commander strength or strength of the marches and cities and the folks of 411K, but they healed, and good thing they did. It looked like that was pretty significant in potentially contributing to their victory.
Yes, sir. Look at the kills. The kills are looking fairly equal. Look at the provision score. They're looking fairly equal. But what held it and did it for 411K was their defense. I don't think that the commander's differential really mattered on the open field. They might have mattered on the defense, because what you're seeing here is a team who had their buildings taking points for them most of the match. I believe that no altar flipped sides. 411K had their altars consistently. The shrine went down once, I believe. And so the tactic of taking points away from the opposition worked really, really well for 411K. It's not that they occupied more buildings. They occupied less buildings. They had less of an occupation numbers. But what they did is they held their own buildings forever. And that kept ticking for points. And that's the name of this game. Points per minute. If you have your two altars secured, 300 points every single minute. That's over a quarter of the total points on the map. What else can be said? FN played a really great match. I saw a few slip-ups along the way. Perhaps some of these little things, getting a little bit nervous, getting out there, having that pressure of being at the final. 411K having a few OV members in it, ex-OV members, better said, might have a little bit of that experience of holding out those nerves and being able to be a successful team. Man, some of these guys are about to get their second Osiris League skin.
Yeah, to wrap it up, I think that ultimately, right, we just saw a very quality match. This match was very even. You could tell that 411K had a little bit of that extra oomph, and that had to do with their buildings being basically rock solid, being able to use that confidence to move more armies on the field further forward, getting to the middle when they needed to. I think the timings were really good for both sides. I think that you didn't really see a difference, right, between the realms. This could have easily been the JWM HKL match. Like, if you didn't see the names above the different players, you could have easily assumed this was based off of the performance from both of these alliances, the JWM HKL match that we're going to see in about an hour. So I think that ultimately there's no difference. These guys definitely played to win. I'm looking forward to see what the Osiris Invitational is going to look like with these matchups as well. I'm looking to see if these guys can play with the original Realm of Horus folks. I don't see there being a problem with that. They're looking at this matchup here and seeing some of the matchups coming up to this match. There should be no problems with these guys being able to play together, and looking forward to seeing how that plays up too.
Yeah, this was an incredibly fun match to watch. Really well played by both sides. Congratulations to both teams for getting so far, and to 411K for their victory. Wow.
Yes, sir. Dragothian, Chiskel, appreciate you guys very much. It was a fun cast. We're gonna have one more of these coming up very soon. I'll see you guys there. Let's head out for a final goodbye. Look at our champions once more. And yeah, guys, thank you very much. And so we wrap up the realm of Anubis. That is right. The season is over. The champions are here. 411K. That is right. They went through hell and back. They played against some of the strongest players in the game. They went through some of the closest matches out there. We're talking such a similar match in terms of returns on almost all their way through the quarterfinals, semifinals, and the finals. Now they call themselves the champions of Osiris. They'll be the champions of Osiris until the next season, season 2 of the Realm of Anubis, where someone will come in to try to challenge their title out. For now, we're going to take a quick, probably like half an hour, 45-minute break, and then come right back here because there's one more match today. There's one more final to go. The Realm of Horus has JWM against HKL coming up very shortly on this channel. So stick around, go grab something to eat, something to drink, chill out for a little bit. We got to catch our breaths too, and come back for the next cast. Don't forget to drop a like on the stream before you leave. And of course, if you want to come say hi to us on our channels, links in the description down below. And we'll see you guys sooner rather than later. Thank you for being an awesome community, chilling with us today and enjoying the cast. Leave us feedback as well in the comments down below. Take care. Peace.